Envision yourself traversing a rugged mountain path. The wind howls, whipping grit and pebbles against your visage. Each painstaking step is a meticulous ascent. Yet, just as you anticipate reaching a plateau, a colossal boulder descends from the heavens, precisely obstructing your path. Or the very bedrock you painstakingly cultivated crumbles into dust. You cast your gaze around, observing others gliding effortlessly along serene avenues, while you alone appear ensnared by an unseen force, misfortune dogging your every stride like an inescapable specter. Innumerable times, from the deepest chambers of your soul, you have bellowed, "Why? Why must tribulation perpetually converge upon my being?" Have there been nights, in the profound solitude of darkness, when you found yourself gazing upon the boundless void beyond your window, that rending query echoing incessantly within your consciousness? Am I predestined to endure this ceaseless burden from the moment of my genesis? Am I utterly divorced from the world's felicity? You have striven, you have wrestled, you have even expended every iota of your being in an endeavor to alter your course. Yet to what avail? Each resurgence, it seems, served merely to precipitate an even more profound descent. Is this then a capricious jest of fate, or a singular cosmic chastisement reserved solely for your spirit? When discourse turns to the law of attraction or the tenets of positive thinking, do you not discern an ineffable irony, as if such precepts are rendered utterly inert in your case, leaving you, the anomalous entity, inextricably bound by a law of repulsion? Let us now divert our gaze from the ephemeral veneer of personal destiny and delve into the tenebrous forest of the psyche. Your felt sense of being singled out is not unfounded, yet it is far from the passive subjugation you might envision. Carl Jung posited that within the abyssal depths of the human collective unconscious, a myriad of primordial archetypes lie concealed. Among these, one salient archetype is that of the victim. This transcends mere despondency. It is an ingrained psychological pattern that often imperceptibly weaves the fabric of your world interpretation and even the very definition of your being. Have you discerned how, with the advent of adversity, a deeply embedded script within your psyche is inexplicably activated? You are not merely encountering affliction, but rather enacting it. Pushing the inquiry further, Nietzsche's philosophical blade deftly pierces the veils of moral duplicity. He might challenge you: are you genuinely enduring passive suffering? Or are you, perhaps unconsciously, drawing a peculiar potency, a distinct identity, or even a sense of singular significance from this very affliction? When an individual protractedly assumes the mantle of victimhood, they often garner sympathy, attract fervent attention, and may even deftly circumvent accountability. This is not to impute deliberate artifice on your part, but rather to highlight a profound psychological defense mechanism within the human psyche, which, at an unconscious stratum, constructs a sanctuary for you, a precinct, albeit fraught with agony, yet one that confers a powerful sense of being. Your anguish may, perchance, have become your sole conduit to worldly connection. Schopenhauer, in his characteristically pessimistic vein, observed that existence itself is an unceasing cycle of desire and struggle, with suffering serving as its immutable substratum. Yet this is not an injunction to capitulate, but rather an exhortation to discern that what you perceive as befalling you is more akin to a profound resonance. Your ingrained convictions of scarcity, the insidious whispers of unworthiness, and even the deeply programmed notion that felicity is not my birthright, are in fact magnetically drawing to you realities that precisely mirror these beliefs. Your subconscious mind, akin to a high-powered signal emitter operating at full capacity, incessantly broadcasts your intrinsic frequency into the cosmos. You yearn for affection, yet harbor a profound conviction of your own unworthiness. You covet triumph, yet are plagued by the dread of failure, and more profoundly still, by the onerous responsibilities and potential losses success might entail. These internal dichotomies and dissonances are the veritable lodestones attracting external afflictions. This is not punitive retribution, but an energetic resonance, an external projection of your intrinsic narrative. You are convinced, deep within, that you are the perpetually ill-fated individual, and thus the world is compelled to unfold the very script you so ardently embrace. Do you not now perceive a sudden chill? For you begin to appreciate that the very dramatist of this unfolding narrative has in truth never departed from the profound recesses of your subconscious mind. Do you persist in resisting this disquieting revelation? As you commence to plumb these profound psychological mechanisms, an unsettling disquiet may assail you, for this insight irrevocably challenges your deeply entrenched narrative of "I am a victim." Yet recall that authentic awakening is invariably accompanied by such subversive discomfort. Your cerebrum, that most intricate organ known to humanity, is scarcely as objective as you might surmise. It is replete with cognitive biases, invisible filters in myriad forms, which perpetually distort your apprehension of reality. Are you familiar with the concept of confirmation bias? For once your inner sanctum solidifies the conviction that adversity perpetually befalls me, your cerebrum will instinctively seek, filter, and magnify every shred of evidence that corroborates this belief, while conveniently disregarding moments that unequivocally contradict it. Thus, a minor setback in your perception burgeons into an apocalyptic event. Conversely, a fortuitous triumph is fastly relegated to the realm of mere happenstance. This intricate internal programming does not materialize instantaneously. It may well be a deeply ingrained script, unconsciously absorbed during your formative years from parental figures, pedagogues, and the broader societal milieu. An unthinking remark, an overlooked experience, even a work of cinematic or literary art can sow the insidious seeds of "I am insufficient" or "I am inexorably fated to misfortune" deep into your emotional topography. These nascent seeds, without fanfare or conscious notice, take tenacious root and burgeon, inexorably shaping your self-concept. Your self-concept, akin to a potent magnetic epicenter, perpetually draws to itself energetic fields that resonate harmoniously with its intrinsic frequency. Should you harbor the conviction of your own ill fortune, you will, without conscious volition, gravitate towards choices that seemingly invite misfortune, attract relationships fraught with adversity, and even avert your gaze from propitious opportunities simply because they failed to align with your pre-scripted narrative of misfortune. More disquieting still, once this pattern is firmly established, it metamorphoses into a self-reinforcing gyre, ensnaring you inexorably. The more profound your anguish, the more steadfast your conviction of victimhood, and the more entrenched this conviction, the more readily you summon and perpetuate suffering. This phenomenon springs not from arcane sorcery or malevolent maledictions, but rather from the synergistic interplay between your conscious and subconscious faculties, which, beyond your conscious awareness, orchestrates your every choice, sways your every deliberation, and even subtly distorts the very cadence of your breath. Do you not sense the palpable presence of this invisible thraldom? It is no corporeal chain, yet it binds more firmly than any manacle. It is no formidable rampart, yet it proves more insurmountable than any physical barrier, for its very essence resides within the deepest precincts of your cognitive architecture. Do you yet falter? Are you content to remain eternally ensnared by these ethereal bonds, confined within the very dungeon of misfortune? If suffering is not merely an external imposition, but rather a more profound, intricate internal manifestation, how are we to emancipate ourselves from this impalpable confinement? This demands a paradigm shift, a new perspective that subverts conventional cognition. The primordial and indeed paramount step is to cease the resistance to suffering. Have you ever pondered that the more vehemently you recoil from pain, the more tenacious its grip becomes? It is akin to clenching a handful of sand. The tighter your grasp, the swifter its dissipation. Authentic power lies not in confrontation, but in transcendence. Pain is no adversary, rather it is a harbinger, a signal striving with utmost intensity to command your attention. It intends to apprise you that an internal disequilibrium, a recalcitrant belief, or a pervasive pattern in your being demands recognition and amelioration. This proposition may appear counterintuitive, even draconian, yet it is precisely those who have genuinely discerned the essence of existence who have, without exception, wholeheartedly embraced suffering. Viktor Frankl, even within the dehumanizing confines of Nazi concentration camps, unearthed profound meaning in existence. The Buddha, before his profound enlightenment, traversed an arduous path of extreme asceticism,